Hi there and welcome to the guest list. I'm your host, Steve Guest. Welcome to today's episode, and I am really chuffed to have today's guest on. Just for those of you that haven't listened to previous podcasts, this podcast has been born out of a mission to empower, inspire, motivate, and really add as much value as possible to my network and networks beyond that. I put a post out at the start of this journey and said, who would you like to listen to? Who would you like me to be speaking to? Today's guest was mentioned a number of times, so that is one of the reasons why I'm absolutely chuffed to have him on today. A quick run through the bio. So this person is a master of teaching people how they can not only make better decisions, but make them faster too. An energetic entrepreneur that not only helps small growing companies, but regularly motivates and speaks to global organisations such as Bentley, JCB and the NHS. It's no wonder that this person holds the title of UK's #1 motivational business speaker, author of 4 business books, UK's highest rated 5-star business author on Amazon. The company this person founded 15 years ago, 4 Networking, was the largest joined up UK business network, running 5,000 plus meetings a year. That is until COVID hit, and this person and his team took the organisation online within 36 hours. And during the pandemic, has also launched 1 Networking and 3 Networking 2. Hugely impressive for someone with no formal qualifications. Mr. Brad Burton, welcome to the podcast.
Hey there, it's funny, you listen to that there and you think, Christ, that's almost like this is your life. And it's just fascinating how you've managed to bridge that last 15 years. Yeah, it has been a tough 12 months. It's been a disorientating 12 months, but it's one that we've got through. And, when this is all over and it's looking like it's nearly going to be over, there's going to be a column, and on that one side of the column is going to be winners, people that move fast, people that adapted, and on the other side are going to be people that chose to wait to see what happens. And I'll tell you something, when you wait to see what happens, nothing happens. You end up going backwards. So it's been a difficult, challenging year, but one we've got through, and I'm delighted to be on the guest list. What a great name for the show, by the way.
Took a lot of thought, that one.
No, it's a special one, that we like that.
Yeah, I'm chuffed to have you here. And I mean, you mentioned the last 12 months, and I would say where I've sat as well, just purely on a recruitment basis, there's people that have perhaps felt overwhelmed, they've been stopped in their tracks, and just have sat there and not moved. And then there's people that have grabbed market share, they've gone out there, they've changed things, they've diversified. How did it impact you? What have you been out there and done?
So the short version and the brief version is effectively running these networking meetings. Started back in 2006. I was delivering pizzas to keep my business afloat. Ended up making that network something pretty significant. And we was doing over 100 grand a month easily. And then COVID came along and we went to zero, which is a difficult set of circumstances when your business relies on face-to-face meetings, and you sell memberships of that membership organization, and you can't have face-to-face meetings. We had to adapt massively. So we took literally, it was funny, I rang up my web developer, and let me be quite clear, I played enough computer games in my life to know that without a vaccine, and the lock of the borders down, this was getting to us. I kind of knew that. And I was on this back in November, December. So I panic bought back in November, December, like genuinely, whilst everyone else is laughing at me going, I'm the guy getting the pasta, I'm the guy getting the carnation cream. I got all that. So then, when it did start panic buying, everyone's queuing up for 3 hours to get in Asda and all stressed out and this and that. And that's what now what is the whole principle that I'm about, which is to get ahead of the problem. Most people, when I move fast in situations, people go, God, how can you make that decision so fast? I've already made it months back. So I knew what I was going to do in the event that this went the way that it has gone. I was going to do this. So when it looked like I moved fast, I was already on it. I was already putting things in place. And that's what now it's about, because people under stress, people under pressure don't make great decisions. So the key to this thing is to not make decisions when you're under stress. So by doing it back in November, December, making the decisions that I needed to, when it came to, here it is coming down the road, we kind of knew what to do because we made all the hardcore thinking, rather than what most people did was wait to see what happened. Then the shit hits the fan, and now they're going, I'm really stressed, we've got no money, what do we do? And that's, I think, pretty much the principle I've applied to throughout my entire professional career.
And obviously, you're very well established. You're very well known. I've followed you for a good while, certainly across social media,
Yep.
and we've exchanged messages. In terms of the other areas, the one networking, the three networking, is this the online version of what you were doing previous, where it was face to face?
No. So do you like blue cheese?
Yes.
Can't stand it, right? But both of these are cheeses. Whichever, they go into the cheese family. You love blue cheese. I can't stand it. Like, genuinely revulsion. So I looked at this whole networking scene, and like when I first started, you had the loony left of networking where nothing quite happened. It was all very nice. You go along, you don't know anyone, you pay your £20, go into a room full of people, like a lost child looking for your parents. You know, don't know anyone. You stand against the wall, lady comes past with a tray of vol au vents and the wine. Sat there, and then you're going to listen to the mayor talking about local parking provision. Truth is, you don't give a shit about that, but that's fine. You've got to listen to the mayor talking about local, and they're putting the parking fees up 25%. And then people are asking the questions, having listened to the mayor for 15 minutes. Well, he says 15 minutes, that's what he's booked for, but he's gone over for 30 minutes. And now, because he doesn't know how to stop. And then these people are asking questions for the next 45 minutes that nobody cares about. So, Mayor, tell me, what impact do you believe it'll have? Nonsense. Loony left of networking. Then you've got the hardcore right. Where's your leads? Where's your referrals? You have to attend. You have to bring visitors. Whoa. Where was the mainstream of networking? It never existed until I came up with it. So for networking kind of straddled the loony left, the hard right, and got the mainstream of networking. What we was finding is that people were leaving the mainstream of networking to go to the hard right of networking. And I'm going, this is crazy. So what I've done is I've positioned a new network, one networking, in between the middle. The hard right's there, we are smack bang there, and it's working. So rather than us losing people to go to the hard right, we've managed to get them to, people no longer leave us, they're within the family, the cheese board, they go to one networking. And three networking is another derivative, which is another kind of networking type. And that's, I think, where the opportunity lies now, is to actually go into this space this next 12 months and actually get into this, like this thing of doing innovation. Because if you think about it, people say, oh, you just copied. It's a bit like saying if Tesla copied BMW, you know, it's a car with wheels and it stays, but they've not copied it. They've built on it. And that's what I've done. And I think what I've done is looked at this opportunity. And this is what I always say, when the shit's hitting the fan, what does this make possible? And that's what I wrote on a piece of paper. I swear to God, I've got it in this thing here. I've got an A3 piece of paper that I wrote, what does this make possible? And I spec'd out the business model for what was then to become for networking online. So, you know, the online stuff is a permanent fixture. When we go back to face-to-face networking, which we've got 44, that's the headline. We've actually got 48. We've got 44 for networking meetings launching month commencing June the 22nd. So we're ready to go. So we're going to bring the online, we've got the online, we've got the offline, we've got the one networking here, we've got the four networking here, and we've got the three networking here. We have I've created something pretty special, which actually you would never have done if it wasn't for the shit in the fan. And everything happens for the reason, Steve. I got shot at back in 1995, the worst day of my life. I moved away from Manchester, Salford, my home of 21 years, and I moved to Somerset. And for many, many years, it was dark, and I felt a stranger in this strange land. Nobody understood me. Literally, I could speak and people say, sorry, what did you say? And you say it again, and he'd say, and the third time they'd just smile and laugh you off. That's what it was like when I first come down. I didn't know anyone. And I look at that, you and I would not be speaking right now if it wasn't for the worst day of my life, those gunshots. There'd be no 4 books. There'd be no Brad Burton, the UK's #1 motivational business speaker, says so on my website. There'd be no Ben Brandon and Bonnie and my wife. So everything does happen for a reason, and that's what you've got to do. You've got to start interpreting this last 12 months, not as a negative, but as a fresh start, an opportunity where your Jenga board that you built of your life and your business is so wobbly and just, you know, ready to fall. And actually what I've done is I've rebuilt differently and I've rebuilt slower. There's no rush anymore. You know, we're 60, 70% down on what was 12 months ago. But you know what? So what? Like, seriously, so what? We're here. And I think that's the key to this thing, is actually thanking your lucky stars.
That's it, isn't it? You survive, you get knocked back, you get life-changing moments. And I think it's how you react, isn't it? It's how you position yourself to say, what am I going to do with this? How am I going to come out bigger, better, and stronger? Is it going to define me, or is it going to make me do something that I want to do, or get to a place to where I want to be?
You know, I'm 48 now, and actually I'm 48. When do you reckon is a good time for someone to stop being a warhorse and stop going into battle all the time. Right? There comes a point, I've got everything that I want. I have everything in my life that I want. So some people go, oh, I had some clown on Clubhouse say, oh, you've got self-limiting beliefs. So a guy from Manchester who delivered pizzas at 31-year-old, he didn't have a pot to piss in, he's been involved in various bits and bobs and 4 years on benefits and been addicted to drugs twice and got shot at 21. No qualifications, and he's now running a business with staff, and he's got 4 books, and he's a motivational speaker at the highest level, cost of JCB, Bentley, blah, 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 blah. And I've got self-limiting beliefs. When does it end? When does it get good? When, you know, what have I got to do so that individual goes, you've not got self-limiting beliefs? When's a good time to say, actually, I've won? You know, and this is I think so many people look at this, and I asked the question, and it's a great question. I'm going to ask you this question. I just want you to answer straight away. Ready?
Yep.
What's going to run out first, Steve? Ambition or ability?
Ambition.
Right. And this is the thing where I'm at now. You know, I could take the world on if I wanted to. I'm not sure I want to anymore. I'm quite happy being happy. And I think that's the bit that gets it all twisted, because so many people believe that by making more money, that's where happiness resides. And then when they get a £1 million business, they go, I'm not happy. It's a £5 million business. That's where it is. And they keep working towards that. And then they get that. And guess what? They're not happy. And now what's happened is because they've spent so much time building that wealth and that business, they've got no relationships anymore to enjoy any of that money they've got, or that time that they now have. And it's almost like the success trap. And I've kind of got to a point now with my life where I go, you know what? I don't have to answer to anyone. I don't have to compare my life to anyone else's life, because if I do that, no good's going to come from it. But if I compare me to me, Brad Burton, who 15 years ago was living in a frigging masonette above a chipper, to where I'm at now, Brad Burton, who lives in a 5-bedroom house in Somerset, was, you know, and it's not about stuff, but what it's about is that when is enough? And that's something that only you can answer. But I tell you, enough for me is that I think I'm at 48-year-old now, and if I was to this was to be my last fucking year on this earth, I've achieved. I might be quite happy with what I've done and the impact that I've made.
It's so true, isn't it? And I think contentness is quite often overlooked, and I'm guilty of it. It's the constant chase.
How old are you, Steve?
I'm 42.
Right, and
that's I'm not too far behind you.
Yeah. So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Who is the most successful person that you know?
Ooh, I don't know. There's a few.
Well, give me one name.
Daniel Priestley.
All right. So why do you consider Daniel to be a success?
Because I suppose I look up to him. He's a good guy. He's a family man.
No. But
he's got everything.
But how are you defining that he is successful? Is it money? Is it house? Is it holidays? What is it?
It's a bit of everything. It's living a content life. It's choice. It's opportunity.
I like Daniel, by the way. Good lad. Let me ask you this question: who's the happiest person that you know? Let me explain the point I'm making. You're not saying Daniel Priestley, are you?
No.
Right. So that what does that say? It says that there is no correlation between success and happy. None. And this is the bit that people get it twisted. And when you drop that on the anvil on someone, a Brad anvil there, on someone, they go, whoa, yeah, Grant Cardone's successful, but why? Why is he successful? Well, because he speaks in front of thousands, okay. He's got a jet, right? And he's got this, okay. How happy is he? And actually, once you realise that actually everything that we are doing, the reason that we're starting a business off and the reason we're driving is truth. Is somewhere along the way, we're doing it to get us happy. We think that success will get us happy. Now, when you get success, back in 2012, as I had, and I wasn't happy, that really woke me up, because I ended up with it, success. I was ill with this pursuit of success. I got ill. Yeah. And actually, I wasn't happy. And that is when I changed my life back in 2012. I changed what I stood for. That was 9 years ago. So what, about 39? And that's when this road that I'm on right now changed, because I realized the futility of it, that even if I had 10 times more money, I wouldn't have been 10 times happier. I'd have still been as broken as I was. So for me, this is, everyone wants to be playing tennis with Richard Branson and Alan Sugar, but that's not where happy lies. And I think so many people get it twisted. And I've seen what I call the success trap, that people believe that life's going to be good when you get the 14-inch television. Life's going to be good when you get that 60-inch, 80, 100, now to be a private cinema. And you get all that and you spend all the time building that only to be broken or unhappy. That's not success, that's success. And, for a guy who's a businessman who teaches people to how to make better business, I come at it from this perspective, Steve, which is get happy first, and then we'll get you success. Because if you're not happy and you've got money and success, that's when you start doing shit like lap dancing clubs and drugs and driving daft cars and doing reckless stuff, because you're not happy, fundamentally happy. You look at somebody who wins a lottery and they've got 5 million quid, and the next thing, 2 years later, they skin back on the tools because they don't know how to handle it. And this is the bit that I come at it from a completely 100% different area than anyone else does on this one.
It's so true, isn't it? And I think it's a really difficult concept to kind of get your head around. I'm in a sales orientated industry. I've been in recruitment for 15 years.
Right, and
I've trained, coached, and everything is about performance. It's about sales. It's about being the top high billers. It's about looking at being that person that everyone looks up to because you've hit these targets, you've amassed this.
But Steve, let me tell you something, right? And this is the bit, right? This is a proper plot twist. So if I was to compare me to the top biller, right, or whoever it is compares themselves to the top biller, that therefore, by default, puts them as a lower position as them. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So therefore, if I'm comparing my business to Alan Sugar, right, I'm lower. I'm looking up to them. If I compare my business to Richard Branson, I'm looking up to him. If I compare my life to my life 15 years ago and me now, on a scale of 1 to 10, I ain't looking up to these individuals. I'm like looking down at the old version. So what happens is this whole thing is I don't compare myself to anyone. I compare myself to me. And in doing so, that is why I look at my life and go, whoa, look at what you've achieved. So in the scale of 1 to 10, Richard Branson, I'm a 1 or a 2. I'm a 10. So in my mind's eye, I'm walking around like I'm a fucking 10 because I believe it. And that in itself allows me to be happy. If you're just constantly looking at other people and looking at what they're doing, there's a reason that racehorses wear blinkers. They don't give a toss about the competition. And this is what you've got to do. You've got to run your own race. You've got to be your own fight. You've got to compete versus you. That's where people go wrong, because as soon as I go onto to Instagram now and look at squad goals, I'll see some kid who's younger than me with a £50,000 Rolex watch, a £100,000 Rolex watch, a £1 million gold chain. And I think, well, I've not got a £1 million gold chain. I'm older than him. I'm a failure. And that gets us in this horrible loop where we feel like shit. And actually, this is why I don't do that. So from my perspective, compare me to me, compare you to you. And in doing so, take yourself out of this race, because truth, it's a race you can never win. If your only focus is winning or earning money, you'll never be happy. You get £1 million. Somebody said to me, I was having gauchos 2-3 years ago, not eating meat anymore. Anyway, how do you know you've got a vegetarian or a vegan on an interview? Don't worry, they'll tell you. Anyway, so I was having gauchos 2-3 years ago with a mate of mine, Danny Matharu, and I said to Danny, he said he's got a £2 million business and he's a working class lad. Now, mate, well done, recruitment business, funny enough, right? And I was eating these gauchos, and I said to him, now what? I always ask that question, now what? He said, I'm going to go for a £10 million business. I went, really? He went, yeah. I went, phew. So tell me, why are you doing a £10 million business? Well, no, don't tell me. Well, no, don't tell me. Well, so I can get the nice things from my family. Cool. Like what specifically? What could you get a £10 million business that you can't get with a £2 million business? Well, no, don't tell me. I said, how old's your boy? He said 5. I said, okay, and how long is it going to take you to get this £10 million business? He says 8 years. We've got it at 8-10 years. Cool. Now, how old will your boy be then? Okay, so 15. And he went, boom. And I said, mate, just make damn certain that what you're chasing is what you actually fucking want. Because too many people chase this shit that they believe is where happy and success is. To get a £2 million business from a working class lad, that is an achievement. To get a £2 million business, but this is the problem. In today's world, Clubhouse, 8-figure earners, 9-figure earners, 10-figure earners, you don't have the scaffolding to be able to do that. Trust me, you go and get me going back 15 years ago and I become a £1 million earner like that, we've got ourselves a problem, right? You've got a problem in your own life. And this is what people want to do. People are in a hurry to get it done right now. And what we need to do is not right now, get it done right. And that's what I absolutely stand by these words. And I'm a single person, a voice on this one. I'm going one way, and the vast majority of people are walking past me and going, Brad's a fucking idiot. And I'm quite good with that. I'm good with that because once again, I don't have to compare myself to other people. So is my business the biggest business that it could possibly be? No. Is my life as good as it could possibly be? Yes. Is there a sliding scale that if I spent more time on my business to get my business up, that my life would be eroded in some respects? Am I happy? Truth? Yes. Well, you can get staffing. Yeah, I get it. I've got staffing. But there's a point in life when you've got to say how much is enough. Enough love, enough money, enough cars, enough homes, enough rooms, enough. How much is enough? And only you can answer that one. But for those people that have got this insatiable appetite where nothing's ever enough, then you'll never be happy. That's the reality of it.
There's so many elements of value in what you've just said there. And one of the things that springs to my mind is I think social media has a huge area to play here where it's about the perceived idea. Perception is reality in social media, and most of it's untrue. Most of it's paid, rented, or just there for the flash and the ability to say, "Oh, look at me."
I've got a friend of mine, like literally with tens of supercars, right? Tens. So not like one or two, not one, tens. Actually, more than tens, but nonetheless. It would take me a phone call right now to go and tip up to his house and go and spend the day doing videos and be getting in and out of Bugattis and driving cars and all that. And I could absolutely, we was that close as a team to go and do that, to lure people in with this wonderful opulence, getting out of helicopters, sunglasses on, all that shit. We was going to do it. And at the end of it, say, you know what? You've just been blagged for the last 2 minutes. It's all rented. It's all my friend's cars. Here's my friend. And actually, none of it is mine. However, you can understand how easy it would have been for me to paint a picture that you too can learn the secrets that Brad Burton created a national network and written all books. And this is the horrible thing about it. Because here's the thing. Some people are actually fucking doing that. It's disgusting. They are pieces of shit. And actually, that, once again, for what? To then go and get more funds to do what? To then go and spend loads of money buying champagne with sparklers in so you can put on social media. For what? Don't get me wrong, I love stuff. I love enjoying having nice things. But what I won't do is I won't, one, rip someone off. Two, I always say this, the problem with selling yourself out for money is the selling out lasts forever, the money doesn't. And so many people that I see, I've got a reputation as being a straight batter, and I continue to hold that. And that's the thing that I don't do. So I won't sell myself out ever, but I could do that with ease, Steve. It would be so easy for me to paint a picture and to turn my Instagram wall to a wall of opulence that people would be signing up for my £49 course and getting them in ClickFunnels. That's not what I'm about.
Yeah, and I think it's important. Me and my lovely wife, we've been together 21 years this year. We met as holiday reps a long time ago, and we have a really good, solid foundation, 2 beautiful kids, and we're successful. We do well. We work hard, and we do well, but we don't need to flaunt it. We don't need to show the world. We appreciate each other. We appreciate the good things in life and do nice things. But ultimately, our work, our daily duties where we go and earn whatever we earn it's about a journey. So we share the down days, the crap days, the days where you don't want to get out of bed. And it's important, but it's not about duping somebody into a failed view. But I think we're almost in that generation of, I want it now. I'm not willing to work for it. I want it to arrive today, whether that's on credit or everything else. And people get drawn into it.
Steve, I think here's the thing with it. What people want to do, they want to skip the steps. And in skipping the steps, you're skipping the learning. So if you think about it, you'll learn my masterclass how you too can create a frigging network, a national network, and you'll learn the email that earned me £75,000 in just 2 hours. You'll have copies of that. People, oh my God, right? And actually, that's legit, by the way. What I've just said then is legit. But the reality is the story behind the £75,000 email was 6 years of work and then never done a promotion. And it was but we don't tell them that until they sit down. And it's this whole horrible bit where, you know, these mistruths. So I'll tell you something. When I say Brad Burton, the UK's #1 motivational business speaker, let me explain. The UK's #1 motivational business speaker, I did that on purpose. I knew what was going to happen. I knew you're going to get a load of bellends going, this guy's not the UK's #1 motivational business speaker. And I'd say, who is? Well, it's not you. Who is then? It's a bit like seeing me and you in a pub, a nightclub, and we go, hey, Steve, looking at there's a £20 note there. Go and pick it up. And you go, no, you pick it up, Brad. You're near it. You pick it up. Next thing, somebody picks a £20 note up, and now me and you are arguing. Why didn't you do it? I told you to do it. And actually, let me tell you, there's the other thing. Motivational business speaker is a term that I made. Me. There's no record of it prior to me making it up. Right? It never existed. So now everyone's a motivational business speaker. It never existed on Google back in the day. No reference of motivational business speaker before I made it up. It was a field of one, but it sounds like it's been there for years. And I did it on purpose to prove the point that nobody does checks and measures. That's the reality. In today's day and age, you learn the secrets, Bugatti behind me, jet. People don't do checks and measures. So whatever shit that you want to say, if you're a good communicator, you can get away with it. And actually, I just wanted to prove the point. And actually, every time that I speak, I always say from the outset, hi, just to let you know, I'm from Manchester, do have shaved hair, do have tattoos, but don't worry, I'm not a drug dealer anymore. But here's the thing, no, people often ask me, Brad, how did you become the UK's #1 motivational business speaker? I just made a website and said I'm the UK's #1 motivational business speaker. And sometimes that's all you've got to do, because the first person that you've got to convince of your brilliance is you. If I said to you, I'm the greatest, which boxer am I referring to? Muhammad Ali. The reason that we refer to Muhammad Ali 40, 50 years on as the greatest is because he referred to himself. Do you honestly think we'd be going, fuck me, Muhammad Ali was the greatest? Of course we wouldn't. He got beat 6 times. But because and this is what I'm about. So I was proving the point by doing that actually, you know, in your mind's eye, you've got to position yourself there. The first person you've got to convince of your brilliance is you. If you can't convince yourself, you ain't going to convince anyone else. So I completely, no Machiavellian stuff on it, no malignance there. I'm completely honest about it. And if anyone asks me, I don't hide it. I've made it up. But anyone who says, well, you're not qualified, look, a qualification, if you can do the job, you're qualified. I speak at the highest level, I motivate and inspire at the highest level, therefore I'm qualified. You know, any qualification that you've got, somebody fucking clever's just made it up. So, you know, and they put it in a binder and stuff, and you spend 6 months on it, and you get a qualification, you get a certificate. But somebody's just made it up, so why can't I make up the UK's #1? How is that different to anyone else making it up? There you go. But also, take the other thing, Steve. If I was a shit speaker, then it wouldn't stand up, right? And I've seen this. People have trained people in, I'm the UK's #1 female motivational speaker. And I'm like, listen, do it by all means, but you're going to have a load of shit, because you need to be prepared to plant your feet and plug that one out when you start getting pressed on it. And everyone who's came at me with it has wilted and fell away, because it's non-sustainable. I don't know anyone in the UK that's getting as booked as hard as me as a motivational speaker. I don't know anyone as like genuinely. So that's the thing. So if somebody wants to say, well, I'm a better because I've been booked by who? Who have you been booked by in the UK that I've not been? Tell me. How many books have you written? How many times have you spoken in public? 2,500 times. Cool. How many about you? 400. Okay, cool. Do you see? So it's just made up, but a bit of fun.
I love it. Well, across, if I purposely look at the recruitment industry over the last 12 months, it has been pretty much decimated, and lots of recruiters on furlough, lots of insecure, sales-driven business development type people that are perhaps sat there feeling a little bit insecure. They're not knowing what's around the corner. They're worrying as to whether they go back to work, set up on their own. As a motivational speaker, if you've got someone that's just perhaps lost their mojo, they're thinking, what do I do next? How do I kind of get myself going again? What would you be saying to those people?
So go and find my YouTube channel, and there's 3 episodes in there. I don't even know what it's called. You'll see it, because 1/3, 2/3, and so forth. There's 3 episodes, 15-minute videos that I did for this exact thing of kicking this malaise out. If you are currently a shit-hot salesperson and you're as good as you think you are, then you've got nothing to worry about. Why don't you just start your own business off? Why don't you come and work for me? Why don't you come and work for me and get speaking gigs? We'll do something sensible there. You know, seriously, come seek me out. If you're that good, don't tell me you're funny. This is where people go wrong. I talk about this, is that 92% of people do not do what they say they're going to do, right? And I told my co-director, Pippa, I told her this when she started working with me, but just over 4.5 years ago. And I said, how many percentage do you reckon of people don't do? And she went, oh, I don't know. You know, maybe 10%. I went 92%. 4 years on, you ask her that question, she'll say 92%. So actually, if you want to be a success in your life and your career, be part of the 8%. Don't tell me you're funny. Yeah. Don't tell me you're funny. Don't tell me about the fights that you had, your previous victories. Show me. So come to me and say, Brad, I've got your speaking gig here. Boom. Now you're telling me you're funny. Sorry, now you're showing me you're funny. You're making me laugh. You ain't telling me. And that's where I think a lot of people go wrong. I get it. When people come to interviews with me and they tell me how confident you are on the phone. Yeah, I'm brilliant on the phone. Brilliant. Can you give them a call now and just, whoa. And it's like, what you like under pressure? I'm amazing. Tell us something that you wouldn't want me to know. And actually, I do this, and my recruitment vibe is that proper fucking hardcore. But anyone that I end up getting sticks because they've gone through the most rigorous, interview process. So I'd say to those individuals who are now full of doubt, full of whatever, that right now, go and watch those videos that are on YouTube. You'll find me on Brad Burton. I promise you'll go, I get it now, what he was on about. But recognize that everything happens for a reason. And actually, any shit that you're going on right now, you're not going to starve to death. You ain't going to starve to death. You ain't going to starve to death. You ain't going to lose your house. You ain't going to lose your house, but nor are you going to die. So on that basis, if it doesn't work out, you start a business off. If it doesn't work out, you go and get another job or go and start a business off. I started a business off and, I started mine 25 grand in debt, no income, wife that wanted me to go and get a proper job. You know what I mean? So, and the bank.
Not much pressure then.
Once you recognize that you ain't going to starve to death, what's the risk? So I'd say to somebody, if you're that good at selling, why can't you sell your own services? So once again, it all starts with self-belief. And actually, if you don't 100% believe in yourself, don't get upset if other people don't 100% believe. As a salesperson, what you sell is confidence. And if you've not got confidence, the first thing you need to seek out is confidence. You need to get your confidence back because you ain't selling shit otherwise.
Exactly. That's so true, isn't it? You mentioned earlier about delivering on your deliverables and doing what you say you're going to do. When I first entered recruitment, 15 years ago, the pain points then are still the same now. It was where consultants would promise the earth, I'll get back to you Friday, I'll give you a call Thursday at 4, I'll get you some CVs by the end of the week. And then they never hear from them again. Clients then ring you and say, well, I've tried recruitment agencies before. They don't work. They don't come back to me. They don't deliver on what they say they're going to deliver on. Why would you be any different?
That's Steve Guest.
I'll be like,
well, you're the top biller because for that very reason, you don't, do what you say you're going to do. And it's so simple. People spend all these bullshit money on fucking lead generation systems and web and Facebook and pixels and this, that, and the other. And then when it comes down to picking up a phone and returning a phone call, they'd forget that bit. So they spent thousands setting up these elaborate mousetrap type things with a freaking bowling ball and a plumbing pipe and a net and a seesaw. When all they need to do is pick up the fucking phone and return an email. Pathetic. But, there you go, Steve. I'm going to top biller too. That's me right on the phone.
It's the basics, isn't it? Get the basics right. Deliver and be a consultant and a consultative service. Steve, and be honest. A true reflection on what the process is.
I say this, concentrate on the small picture and the big picture will paint itself. So many people have these big visions. Forget your big vision. Are all our phone calls that are coming through the door, inquiries, are they being answered, yes or no? Well, not really. Okay, get on that first. Then we can start talking about big vision.
Yeah, it leads us back to that instant gratification again, doesn't it? It's cutting corners. It's trying to get to the end goal before you've done the due diligence, getting to that point.
That's right.
So obviously over the years, I assume you've been around inspiring, motivating people. Who would you say have been perhaps the individuals along that journey that have really kind of inspired you or got you to higher levels?
So, you've got a situation where I find inspiration in everything that I watch, everything that I see, everything that I do. And actually, for me, the real inspiration comes from people who are starting out, people that are waiting tables to keep the business afloat, people that are packing nappies at Sainsbury's at 3 o'clock in the morning to keep their business and their household afloat. They are the people that inspire me, not the hyper wealthy. Oh my God, look, it's, Alan Sugar with his £8 million or his private island. I'm just not inspired by them. They don't do nothing for me. Nothing. I treat everyone the same with respect, regardless of who they are. And the people that have inspired me have been those people that have got through that fear, who have actually, had to go through the back of the sofa for the 2s and the 1s for the electric key. Those people that have managed to get themselves from that point and actually move on, they're the people that inspire, and they're the people that I want to inspire, because the people that actually nobody wants to go after those people. Nobody wants to help those people. They wait till they get to a point where they can afford heavyweight money, then they help them. Nah, that's not what I'm about. I'm about making a positive.
It's a really good answer, and I think it opens up the thought process, because truly they are the inspirational people, aren't they? They're the ones that are willing to do something that nobody else wants to do, because it's about survival.
Steve, it's a bit like if you go in the gym. You go in the gym and you've got the gym daddy, whoever it is, bench pressing 220 kilo, and everyone's looking round. And then you've got the kid who's bench pressing 5s on either side. It's his first day and he's got to walk past all these people. That's where the inspiration for me is found, not the one where everyone's adulation and so forth. It's that person that speaks for the first time and then they die on stage and they get back up. They're the people that inspire me.
Yeah. So what does the future hold for you, Brad? What's going to happen? What are you looking for? What does that look like? Great question.
I mean, genuinely, it is one of those ones where I'm looking now, having gone through this in the last 15 years and, achieved what I've achieved. 4 networking's back. Face-to-face is coming back. 1 networking's flying. 3 networking's on its way. So all that's like under control. I think what's next for me, or now what's for me, I'm writing my 5th book. I've actually got my 5th book. I'm actually got it literally there. I can see it. I'm working on my 5th book at the moment, which let me just show you. So this is my planning for my 5th book. So obviously you've gone through the process of writing a book. So this is my 5th book, and the book has been called The Really Big Problem. And that'll be going on this wall there. Just continue to making a difference. I mean, I've got lots and lots of exciting things, and right now I'm at a crossroads when I'm working out what is right for me. What is right for me at 48? Do I plan on for the next 10 years, and then actually then 58, and then we having this conversation, this thought process, or do I look at that now? And like I say, I genuinely don't know. I got a really when it comes to making decisions, you mentioned it before, and this is something that Bentley Global use, and one of their management teams use it. And actually, when it comes to making decisions, I'm the easiest person in the world to sell to. I'll make a decision in 24 seconds. If I can't make a decision in 24 seconds, I'll make one in 24 minutes. If after 24 minutes I can't make a decision, I'll revisit it in 24 hours. If after 24 hours I can't make a decision, I've just made a decision, it's not important. That 24-hour decision process, and it's the first time I've gone to 24 hours in a long time, is today at 2 o'clock. So 2 hours and 25 minutes away. The first time I can recall from memory that I've taken a decision to 24 hours. So your timing couldn't be better. But I don't know.
Do I need to follow up with a call at 2:30?
No, I'll be busy then. But I've got another 2 hours, 35 minutes. And actually what's really nice about that from a decision-making process is that it gives you enough time to be able to think about 24 seconds. Brad, do you want to come on the podcast? Yeah, done. Boom, 24 seconds. Some people, I've been thinking about it. And here's when it comes to decisions. An expert is someone that has made all the mistakes in a particular niche field. So when it comes to professional speaking, I've made them all. And actually, the reason that where we end up in our lives is a direct result of our decisions, right? Often. And the reason people don't make decisions is that they're scared of the wrong ones. If you knew that all your decisions were the right ones, you'd make more, right?
Yeah.
So an expert is someone that's made all the mistakes in a particular niche field. So in order for you to be an expert in recruitment, you've had to make all the mistakes. So when the first time that you go do a visit, you boom, 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 boom. 15 years on, it's just doing a visit. Not a big deal. Asking for money, first time, boom, 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 boom. 15 years on, asking, the more you do sort of something, the better you become. So when it comes to making decisions, I will make a decision. Because the only time you realise that it's the right one or the wrong one is after the event. No one, including me, wakes up and says, you know what, I'm going to go and fuck up. But on occasion, I do. But as long as you learn from that, it moves you one step towards being an expert at mistake. If you get it right, it moves you one step towards success. You can't fail. I absolutely encourage this whole process because, nobody had a pandemic on their business plan. Nobody. So all these clever people, nobody had a pandemic on the business plan. So you don't know. So what it's about is about, as it comes to you, make that decision, go. And that's where I was at with the pandemic. So I was, like I say, panic buying 8 weeks out before anyone else, and I'm being called an idiot. Cool. So when everyone else is, like I say, queuing around the block, I'm sat at home playing computer games when everyone else is fretting. And it's a case of getting ahead of it. It's a case of asking that now what question. The only time that people ask now what is generally when the shit's hitting the fan. And actually, when the shit's hitting the fan isn't the right time to be answering questions.
I love that. At the top of your bio, and I purposely didn't read it out because I knew we were probably going to get to a point where I could say it. And you put your success or failure is defined by your ability to make decisions. You want more success, make better decisions. And I love that. And I'm going to share a story in terms of me. So,
Steve,
yes.
This is my make better decisions faster. Actually, this is my thing. It's my band.
Yeah, I love it. And I am what they class as a high C on a disc profile. I am logical. I need the stats. I need everything in place. I want everything to be able to justify me making a decision. And quite often I would go to board director meetings and I would sit there and say, look, I might not get involved in the round the table discussions, but I'm the one taking copious amounts of notes, and I will come back with an informed decision once I've got it through my head and I understand the concept or the discussion. But I'm not one that necessarily makes a quick decision. And I've never been that person. But what I've learned, and I've probably gone on a really strong journey over the years, is now I've got to the point where I make a quick decision and I go with it. Whether it happens and it works or it fails, I'm happy with the decision either way. Because I think if I always sat where I was, I would never have moved forward.
Let's tell you, there is no correlation between time spent on a decision and it being better. None. Right? And actually, one of those ones, once you kind of recognize that, and this is why I put a 24 hours in, because actually, after which point, we're going to 48 hours. No, whatever information and data I needed to get in those 22 hours and a half, I've got. And I've got to then make a decision. And ultimately, that's where we end up in our life, where we make a decision. And that's what we've all got to do, make decisions.
It's so true. I would say the last 12 months for me has been probably the busiest and most opportunistic 12 months I've had. But that's because everything that's come my way, I've said yes to, and then I've worried about it afterwards.
Right. Yeah.
And it's worked. And some things haven't been as good as I thought they would. Some things have been amazing and have led to other opportunities and opened other doors. I think the fact that we're talking today is one of those parts where I've said, you know what, let's just go for it. See what happens. Okay. I love it. Okay. So we've covered a multitude of things there. There's so many parts that people can kind of pick up on. And I've really enjoyed that. If people are coming to find you, you mentioned your YouTube channel. Where else can they come and find you? You mentioned you've got events coming out.
Yeah. I've got events September 22nd, 23rd. I'm running my Now What live event over in Aston Villa, which is an all-day event, 200 people there getting bradded up. So this kind of stuff, but on stage, high energy, get you fired up, get you focused, get you back to your realigned with your mission, rebooted, recalibrated, bosh done. That's the 23rd, Now What live. Just go and Google me, Brad Burton, get me in and find me on socials and say, yeah, listen to it, bosh done.
Yeah, and such an approachable person as well. I mean, it took, as I say, 24 seconds for you to commit to chatting to me today, which I love. So
I think that's, if anything, that's the question that I'm asking myself, Steve, today, which is, am I too approachable? Because it's getting to the point right now where the sheer wall of things that are coming my way, there comes a point when you can't carry, if you give me a cabbage and I've got to hold on to them, there comes a point when I can only hold so many cabbages before you got to drop something. And that's the point that I'm asking myself today. Am I too accessible? And actually, it's a gift and a curse. And I think, being a man of the people is great until, of course, you're no longer a man of the people because you are the people. It's interesting. It's
a difficult decision, isn't it? I had something similar. So one of the best things I did with Top Bill of the book was I offered a free gift at the end. It's a 3-month planner. Most recruiters are not very good at planning and structure. So they contact me and say, Steve, great book. Can I have a copy of your planner? And I've responded to every single person that's sent me a message, which has been brilliant. But as you say, a curse at the same, because it's me that's responding. Yeah. I set up a free Facebook group. Probably about October, November last year. And it's got 1,100 people in it now, which is great. And what that's enabled is other people to answer questions. So it's taking a little bit of the burden away.
I get it.
I'm still getting constant messages every day, so I completely get it. You obviously are far more networked than I am.
Well, Steve, on travels, I've spoke at various recruitment, and there's one household name recruitment. It's funny. I was actually, when I spoke, I actually said to them, you know, don't burn your staff out. I said, there's no point in you having a good week, 2 weeks, if then you've got your staff that are demoralized, burnt out, unable to function week 3, week 4. And apparently, I only found this out, there was an email letter went out that said, you know, that speaker was terrible, don't listen to him. That's what happened. This was a national thingy. And then what happened, that was 2-3 years ago. About a month ago, I got an email from someone to say, hey, Brad, just to let you know, and this is where I found out about the email. He said, you know, I was at that event that day, and afterwards they sent an email out saying, you know, we don't agree with that. And he said, actually, you impacted so many of us that day. I'm going to start my own business off. Thank you. Well, I think well, that was an interesting one, really, because I didn't know there was this email that went out afterwards. But, you know, it's almost like people are trying to burn people like on the stake to get the money's worth. It's like, whoa, that's crazy. I get it. It's a sales led, and I'm hardcore, don't get me wrong, but pushing your guys to burn out as if that's a cool strategy, that's crackers. And you wonder why them fucked. But yeah, that was literally probably 4-6 weeks ago. Yeah.
It's been part of my mission. I think recruitment, as we mentioned, I think before we started this podcast, is relatively archaic in its setup. And it's pretty old school, and recruiters get beaten up on a daily basis. They're littered with rejection Monday to Friday from candidates, clients, their management, the structure, the setup. Yeah, I mean, putting all your efforts into somebody turning up on a Monday, knowing how random the human race can be at the best of times, is a difficult vocation. Wiping fees and performance off a board because someone's decided it's not quite for them after half an hour.
Wow.
Is difficult to take.
That's madness. I mean, you know, you give me an insight into your industry that actually I've never really clocked, but you're right. You know, and this is, I mean, I deal with thousands of people. My network's got thousands of people. So I get it. And it's just like, you know, now it's just quite as folk, is it, at times?
Yeah, completely. So a massive thank you for spending some time with me. I've really enjoyed our discussions, and I love the way you are. You're a salt of the earth person. What you see is what you get, and I love that. If there was a single piece of advice you'd put out there for the listeners, what would you say in that moment?
Wear a condom. So I would say I've got a religion. I'm religious. And my religion is called Bradism. Help many, hurt few, live life. And somebody said to me, well, why do you have to hurt few? Because it's impossible to live a life without hurting someone on occasion. It's impossible. Yeah. And that is why people get themselves in a mess. Help many, hurt few, live life. That's my advice for you.
Love it. Brad, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Stevie, babe.